Welcome to Rock DIY, or Do It You. If you do it, then it's all you. This is a rigid split point metal cutting bit. It also has a no spin shank at the bottom of the bit. I'm going to set it up on the chuck into the chuck jaws. And when you first set it up, you're basically going to put it in and then turn it until you can still slide the bit in and out. You don't want to completely lock it down before you put it into the alignment port on the bit sharpener. You do want to make sure that before you put the chuck into the alignment port that you know for sure what angle of cut, whether it's 118 or 135. Your 118 bits are typically going to be for rolled steel, aluminum, and wood, while your 135-degree cut will be for tempered steels, alloys, or hard cast materials. So in this case, this is a 135-degree cut. The instruction manual for putting the chuck into the alignment port can be a little confusing because it leads you to believe that this white tick, which there's one directly opposite of that one on the other side, it leads you to believe that it has to be on the top to line up into the alignment port, but it's actually not. And the reason why is because you have these long fins here, and these fins will only go in these notches along the top portion here. You will not be able to put it in with the white tick mark facing up or down. So I now have the bit loosely in the chuck, and we got it sticking out about 1/2 inch to 3/4. And I've also got this long fin here lined up with 118 on the top. And then as I put it in, I'm going to push the alignment button, make sure the drill bit is touching the bit stop, and then make sure that the top fin is lined up and locks in place on 118. And then because it's a 135-degree cut on the bit, I am going to rotate it to the right one click, reinsert it, make sure it's fully seated, and then release the bit clamp button. I want to make sure that the bit, these arms, are clamped into the flutes on the bit, not on the outside portion of the flutes, but to the inside so that it stays locked in place. Rotating the collar one click to the right of 118 is where it needs to be in order to be at 135. So make sure you don't forget to make that one click rotation. Before you insert the collar with the bit in it into the sharpening port, you want to ensure that in this window, if it's a 135-degree bit, that 135 is in this window, otherwise 118. And in order to adjust this, you turn this knob to loosen it, and then this will slide back and forth. And then there's 118, and then there's 135. Once you get that correct angle in the window, make sure you tighten it completely down to make sure it stays locked in place. It's somewhat difficult to see in the picture, but this portion that goes around is in the shape of an oval. The outside edge of it. When you're ready, make sure that you're set at the correct angle, whether it's 118 or 135. Insert the collar into the sharpening port where the white mark is in line with this cam pin here. And then I'm not going to turn it on right now, but what you're going to do is go from white mark to white mark on the opposite side, clockwise, in order to sharpen. And you want to do this smoothly as you make each rotation. This portion of the plastic right here needs to stay touching this cam pin as you rotate it. And then something you'll notice is that this piece right here rocks back and forth because, as I mentioned earlier, this collar is oval. So as you rotate it around clockwise, you'll see that it'll start to cant downward as it goes around, and then it goes back up. Before you start grinding, make sure that the grit tube is in place. Otherwise, you'll have a bunch of the sharpening stone will spill out here instead of being inside the holder down here, this plastic container. After you're done sharpening, leave the bit in the collar. Don't adjust it or anything if you're going to put the split in it. And then in order to put the split in it, what has to be done is the grit port needs to be removed from the side. And then you're going to put the collar on here. And again, where the big fins are, there's a notch right there that you're going to put the line that fin up on, and then insert it into the grit port, and then that's what's going to put the split in the drill bit.
I keep referring to the long fins as a point of reference, but in this case, before putting the bit in to split it, remove the grit tube and then line up the sharpening guide, which is the white line on the chuck. Line that up with the splitting guide on the splitting port, which is the metal piece on the side of the Drill Doctor 500X.
When you get ready to split the bit, make sure it's lined up, and then with the power on, you're going to push the collar in slowly and firmly in order to do the split. And then once you get the one side done, you're going to rotate it 1/2 turn to the other notch, long notch, reinsert it, and do the same thing. Thanks for watching the video. I truly appreciate it.
I hope this product review assists you in deciding if the product meets your needs and whether you want to purchase it.
Please like, comment, or subscribe. Thanks again.